I've been hearing about like the BPC 5 and TB 500 blend, the Wolverine stack for a while. I got a 350 pounder in jiu-jitsu landed on me and my shoulder, like my first 6 months of training. So I got a grade 2 sprain. So I was like, well, might as well try it. So I got some BPC and I started injecting it kind of around the site. And it was so annoying. Like, this is so hard to do, give myself shots, whatever. But I think it cut my recovery from like 4 months down into like 6 weeks or so, maybe even a little less. And so I was feeling a lot better and I was like a fan of it. But then, like, GLP-1s, Ozempic, retatrutide, all these other like GLP-1 inhibitors are super popular right now. And it seems like a lot of people are taking them. You see people like you haven't seen in a while and they've dropped a bunch of weight. Usually it's like they're taking something. And so for a while I was like, that sucks. That's cheating. Like like you said, what are you putting in your body? But like the more research I do, because I'm doing a lot of research on all these different compounds right now. And I'm writing like a little blog about it. So it's called The Truth About Peptides. I don't have anything for sale, but if you want to like know what I've learned about stuff, you can check it out. I've got like 12 up there right now. I'm trying to do a couple a week. But I feel like now looking at this stuff, these GLP-1 and Ozempic and tirzepatide and everything are the natural progression and evolution in response to a very toxic food environment that we find ourselves in. We currently are still operating with our like caveman brains where we're like, sugar is good because I might need it for the famine that's going to happen in my ice cave. Like that's the brain and the operating system we have. But then we have refrigeration and we have pantries filled with snacks and we have fast food available to us at any point. And food scientists are in labs right now, like building not just food that bypasses your like not digestive tract, but like your satiation mechanism. Like a McDonald's hamburger, for example, is engineered to be able to be consumed in 3 bites. And people don't realize that like that's done intentionally so that like, you will order more food and eat until you are full rather than eating the appropriate amount of calories. So you'll eat until you're like stuffed. Like French fries, people don't even realize that French fries have sugar on them. It's to give us the like that real visceral reaction where you like take like the claw and you grab the French fries and then you stuff them into your mouth. You know, it's not like no one's taking up one French fry and be like, that's a nice little taste. But we're just crushing these things because they've overridden our brain's natural like satiety mechanisms. And so not only do we have food scientists in labs coming up with foods that like make us like that we can eat more of faster, that really give us that crunch and that salt and the sweet and those perfect ratios. But we also have scientists in labs right now who are trying to come up with foods that bypass the GLP-1 like drugs responses that slow us down and mute the food noise that we get on a regular basis. So it's this constant battle between like corporations and people looking for profits in food products and our like health and fitness essentially. So I think that the GLP-1s are just a natural evolution in combat to these foods that are so bad for us and have been engineered in a way to make us overeat. So I'm not necessarily like pushing them, but I'm also like, if people are coming to me and being like, I'm taking these or should I take this? I'm not telling them, no, don't do that. That's not a good idea anymore. I'm more like, yeah, great. If you're taking it, let's work on making sure that you don't lose any muscle mass. Let's make sure that you are eating enough protein or if that sort of thing. So I've been working with a lot of people who are taking them. I mean, they're getting fabulous results because they are having an easier time with it, but also the people that I'm working with are not losing muscle mass at the same rate that people who are just taking them on their own are. And people also seem to be able to take less of them and still continue to get good results, which is helpful because I don't want people overloaded on those or really, really highly dependent.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges that, at least for me, and I'm someone who gets pretty nerdy on these sort of things, and I've had to, put on my nerd hat and glasses quite a bit because you've got things like GLP-1 and BPCs and, whatever way, like there's obviously some specific drugs there. Are there some general buckets that they sort of fall into, whether it's like weight loss or you mentioned the BPC sort of was, in recovery? Are there certain things that, functions, if you will, that these sort of things are accomplishing?
Yeah. So like I would say that like one of the ones like these GLP-1s basically slow down your body's digestive tract, which mutes food noise a little bit. So you don't quite get these sugar cravings, you don't get the hunger signals, you're more full after eating a smaller portion. Makes it very easy to lose weight. Then a lot of them fall into like the growth hormone agonist. So they're growth hormone precursors. So growth hormone is very expensive. And if you inject yourself with growth hormone, like a lot of bodybuilders do, your body will stop producing growth hormone. These have kind of bypassed that mechanism by hitting the enzyme chain before your body releases growth hormone and stimulating that so you release more of your own growth hormone. So that's your BPCs, that's your CJCs, that's your ipamorelin, that sort of thing. And so like that's a very, very strong like recovery bucket, I would say. So I'm currently trying the CJC ipamorelin blend just to see what it's like. I was hoping that would help with my back issues. And while I don't necessarily know if that's doing something or if it's, because I'm throwing all the things at it, it seems to be helping it a little bit. The thing that I'm noticing most about it is that my sleep is really good. I fall asleep really fast. I go deep sleep, hardcore for like 2 hours. So I'm getting a lot of a good recovery there. Then there's also kind of like random ones too, like melanotin 2 can help increase the melanin in your skin so you can get a tan. And it also makes you super horny. That's kind of fun, There's a couple of them that do different things. I think the main buckets are the decreased appetite. The recovery is huge. There's not one that's like, this one is for building muscle. I mean, like there's a couple that are like muscle building precursors like IGF-1, but those seem to be more like mid-tier peptides. Some of these god tier peptides are the CJCs, the BPCs. Some people will even put glutathione in there, and that's a real big like anti-inflammatory recovery. But I think like the main thing that we're seeing with these is like more youthful skin, hair. There's some that will help like regrow hair. There's some that will help with your skin, like the glow peptide or the GHKU, the copper peptide, are really good for that. But then you got some that have just like random different benefits, like the melanotin is really fun. I haven't tried it, but I kind of want to.
Yeah, we'll ask your wife about that one.
Yeah.
Do you put it in the wellness bucket yet? For the longest time, I thought it was just sort of a recovery thing, or for people, not for people who were like fat, but people who wanted to lose weight. It seems, and I don't know, but it seems like people are taking them more just in terms of general wellness and not necessarily because they have a specific problem.
Yeah, I think that like, without splitting hairs too much and being like, this one is for wellness and this one is not, I would say this goes into kind of like the general biohacking. Like, how do we age more gracefully? So really, really heavy in terms of longevity and improved performance and recovery. Almost similar to I would like think about supplements. Supplements 30 years ago weren't anywhere close to as popular or as large of an industry as they are today. But I think that like, number one, if you're waking up in the morning and you're having a protein shake and you're putting creatine in it and some greens and you got your vitamins and minerals you're taking, you pop a couple pills before you go like about your day, you're setting yourself up in like a mindset of I'm a healthy person. I prioritize my fitness level. And I think that is just exponential if you actually have to give yourself a shot. Now, I think that sometimes these GLP-1s are sold as like, eat whatever you want to. This makes it easy to lose weight, which I hate. Because I still think that like now it almost becomes more critical to hit your fitness goals, to hit the gym, to get enough protein. But I think that if you're giving yourself a shot, generally speaking, that's such a ordeal compared to like popping a pill or making a shake that you really have to embody that like I am a fit person and health is a large priority for me. And so I feel like if you're taking a shot, like the chances of you eating like a cheeseburger and fries for lunch is way lower.